getting into basic analyst profiles, and then or consumer analysts, and then eventually taking it forward from there. The starting salary would be somewhere around.
Hello guys, welcome back to my channel Immigrant. If it's your first time, my name is Sagar and I make videos on various courses and professions for those of you who are planning to work or study in Canada. In today's video, we have Tina, or I should say Dr. Tina. She's a PhD in retail marketing from India and currently she's enrolled in data analytics program at the top Canadian university. So in today's video, which is part 1, we will talk about the reason behind her career transition in data analytics, what's the admission process for this program, how is it studying at a Canadian university, scope of data analytics in Canada, including the average salary that you can expect. So watch it till the end. The detailed video on the program, which is part 2, will be uploaded very soon. Having said that, without any further ado, let's dive into our today's video. Hi Tina, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for joining in.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for having me.
I actually want to mention this before the start of the video that you're in India right now, you're on vacations and you have your studies as well, which we're going to talk about in the video, but you still took some time. I mean, I really appreciate it. Much respect.
No problem. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
So to start it off, if you can introduce yourself to our viewers, just a little bit about your background, your education, your work experience.
Sure. I'm Tina. I'm born and brought up in Bangalore, and in November is when I moved to Toronto. And so far, I'm experienced in the education industry. I'm an assistant professor. Used to be an assistant professor in Bangalore. When I moved to Toronto, you have to explore different profiles. So I got into career services, and then got into banking, and I got into Ryerson University as well as the TA. So I'm currently still working as a TA or a graduate teaching assistant in Ryerson for 2 professors. And now I'm exploring the world of data analytics at University of Toronto, and I'm absolutely loving it.
Perfect. And what about your education background? If you can just give it a little bit.
Yes, I have done like literally the highest degree in India, which is my PhD in retail marketing, to be precise. And I in fact submitted my thesis last November, and I defended my thesis in August, which was all virtual. There's one good thing that happened because of the pandemic. Everything was virtual. So I was able to defend my thesis while in Toronto. So it was one of the best things. And I got the prefix that everyone's been, not everyone, but I was really thriving for is doctor. So you have to, now I'm literally Dr. Tina Singh.
So as you mentioned that you did PhD in India and you worked as a lecturer as well. So my question is, what made you think of getting into data analytics in Canada or studying data analytics in Canada, even if it's not similar to your past experience?
Yes, my experience is into teaching, but if you look at the education, PhD is predominantly dealing with data. So my study was also to do with consumer behavior and retail promotion. And my sample size was roughly around 2,000 consumers and 1,000 retailers. So as and when I was processing that data, I realized that I'm actually liking what I'm doing. So the entire journey of PhD was so beautiful. And after coming to, or rather moving to Toronto, is when I realized that, okay, you know what, the world of data is like huge. Like the industry and the demand is like next level. Like there's a lot of demand for data analysts or anyone to do with big data, because again, Toronto is such a big city. So that's when I started exploring. I started understanding what is the need, what is basic requirements and everything, and that's how I decided to go down the road of data analytics.
And why did you choose UFT?
So University of Toronto, to be very crass and be very honest, there are a lot of vendors out there who offer you the exact program for much lesser, but UFT is just a brand name. It's a brand affiliation. You know that any recruiter, the minute they see University of Toronto on your resume, you know by default, like it adds an edge. So which is why I chose University of Toronto.
So you believe that taking your education from a college and a university, does it make a difference?
I personally think it does. It does make a difference because you see how rigorous the program is when you're looking at University of Toronto versus any other colleges. I did check out other colleges as well. The program in itself is super intense, and they not just offer you the modules or the content, but they also take care of you 360 degrees, and they take care of like in their career services. They make you write down what your skills are, your passions are. It's just they take care of you as a student and make sure that you get into a profile that you like, that what you want. It's just beyond. So I figured, okay, the value addition and what you receive, like the return on investment, is so much more from a university versus what a college could give me.
If you can tell us, give us a quick overview of the admission requirement, the admission process, how does it work?
All right. The admission process takes around a month. So this is not an open program where anyone could apply for it. You need to get selected into the program. So there is this big registration process. So once you register for it, is where you have to wait for them to reach out to you. Then week one, you go through these series of interviews where they check your capability, whether you can actually take on the program or not, like your mental capability and your exposure to data in the past. Second week would be they would reach out to you again, and they would give you like an aptitude test that you have to go through. They send you the link, and it's literally open for like 12 or 15 minutes, and you have to like answer everything. So there's no room for you to Google the answers, because again, everything is virtual, right? So there's no room for you to Google the answers. After that, you submit. You don't hear back for the longest. At least it feels like the longest, because you're like in so much anticipation. When they actually do, then the next week they check whether you're financially capable to manage the course. And then after that is where they would send you just send you an acceptance letter that you have got into the program. And yeah, that's pretty much the process. And then they send you the login details and everything, and you'll have to just wait to hear back from them.
And how about the documents? Like, you need to give IELTS or your GPA from past education?
No, they don't require any documents whatsoever. They would just ask, because that's why they have their own aptitude. They want to check if you are capable. That's why you go through that entire aptitude process. If you don't get through, then they would just send you like, hey, I'm so sorry you didn't get accepted. Because I actually got rejected from one program, which was again to do with a little advanced, to do with big data. And I got rejected because I didn't meet their intellectual needs. So they would just send you a rejection email. So no documents required whatsoever.
And how is like studying in a university? I've heard like it's not easy at all. You get a lot of stress.
Yes, so studying at a university, I work at Ryerson, so I sort of know how intense it is for students and how stressed out they get. I get it, but I wasn't going through it. So now, because of UFT, I'm actually going through the process. It's all I can think about. Like even right now, I'm like, okay, I need to open up my laptop. You need 2 monitors. I need to read, understand, write code, practice. And then when you hit that play, because you want to check if the macrons is working, and it gives you an error, you literally have to start from scratch again. So it is really challenging. And then you have to save all your work. And we have this place where we have to save it. It's called GitLab. We go on saving our work so that the professors know that we have done, we've gone through our fair share of challenges. So it's very demanding. I can tell you it's very demanding, and eventually it gets to you. So people are working and doing this course. It's really challenging, that I can say.
So Tina, I'm pretty sure it was one of the biggest decisions of your life, to get into something completely different, especially in a country where you still, new, just have like 1 year. Tell us, where do you see yourself after completing this course? And in general, what do you think is the scope of data analytics in Canada?
So when I started doing my research, is when I realized like the world is run through big data, and big data is really big right now. So where I see myself, I'm looking at portfolios or profiles such as junior analyst, getting into basic analyst profiles, and then or consumer analysts, and then eventually taking it forward from there. The starting salary would be somewhere around 50 to 60K per year. That's where you're starting at. And there's immense, I'm telling you, the world for big data, or the world for big data, is really huge, and there's a lot of demand in Toronto in particular. But I've noticed that there's demand all over Canada per se. And if and the industries, the domains, right from education to fintech to retail. So retail is predominantly what I'm looking at, and where there are consumers, there's big data. So I'm telling you, there's like a small college in Eglinton Square, and they require a data analyst. So data analysts are required everywhere, and the demand is intense. So I know for sure that the future looks very promising. Also being hopeful and extremely optimistic for 2021. So I believe that there is a lot of opportunities out there.
Alright guys, that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Give it a thumbs up if you find it helpful. Comment below for any questions or suggestions for myself. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for part 2 and more content like this. I wish you guys all the best. Stay safe, stay strong, and I'll see you in the next one.
Like I said, I come from a pure commerce and management background. I have not come close to coding. And when I started writing code,